the Dean's List. I'm your host, your Dean of Students, and your very best friend, Mr. Walters. Today, we're going to start off with a very exciting announcement. The Dean's List received a grant of $1,000 from the wonderful folks at the Washington Education Association and Central Valley Education Association. Thanks to their generosity, we've been able to purchase nearly 150 new books for our library. This grant makes a huge difference for our school, allowing us to bring even more amazing books to our library's shelves. So, a big shout out and thank you to the WEA and CVEA for their support. Did you know that May is Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month? It's a time when we celebrate the rich cultures, traditions, and contributions of Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders to our society. It's important to learn about and honor the histories and stories of all people, and this month gives us a special opportunity to do just that. And guess what? Thanks to the grant we just received, we've added 36 new books to our library, specifically celebrating Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Today, we're going to be reading from two of those books. The first one is Shining Light, celebrating 40 Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders who changed the world, by Veeda Bybee and Victo Ngai. We're going to be reading about George Takei, an actor and activist. Let's read. 5-year-old George Takei was terrified to see two soldiers with shiny bayonets on their rifles standing at the front door of his Los Angeles home. George's family was ordered to leave their house and live in a prison camp for Japanese Americans. To ease his fears, George's parents told him they were going on vacation. It was not a pleasant trip. George and his family traveled for days by train to an incarceration camp in Arkansas. For 4 years, he woke each morning to barbed wire fences and armed guards. Their living quarters were a small horse stall. During movie nights at the camp, George discovered the power of film. He sat in the front row, captivated by the 1939 movie The Hunchback of Notre Dame. George understood Quasimodo, feeling out of place and despised by the people around him. He also loved feeling transported to Paris, away from his prison in Arkansas. When World War II ended, the Takeis returned to Los Angeles with no home or money and worked hard to rebuild a stable life. After high school, George decided to study theater at the University of California, Los Angeles, where he would earn both a bachelor's and master's degree. George found success in Hollywood, contributing to more than 40 films and television shows, but earned particular fame for his role as Hikaru Sulu in the 1960s science fiction TV series Star Trek. Remembering the power film had on him in the incarceration camps, George uses acting to help build bridges. The 2012 Broadway play Allegiance, which George developed and appeared in, is inspired by his childhood. Inducted into the Hollywood Walk of Fame, George was also recognized in Japan with induction into the Order of the Rising Sun for his work on Japanese-U.S. relations. If you'd like to learn more about George Takei, check out this book in our library. My Lost Freedom by George Takei, a Japanese-American World War II story, illustrated by Michelle Lee. This book tells the story of George growing up in Japanese-American incarceration camps during World War II. Even though they were living behind barbed wire fences and surrounded by armed soldiers, his parents did everything they could to keep the family safe. In this book, George Takei tells the story of what it felt like to be treated as an enemy in your own country. This is a book about a family's courage, a young boy's resilience, and the importance of staying true to yourself in the face of injustice. While you're at it, make sure you check out all the other books in our library celebrating Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. I'd love to hear about what you find. Thanks again to the WEA and CVEA. And thanks to you for joining me today here on the Dean's List. I've been your host, your Dean of Students, and your very best friend, Mr. Walters. And I'll see you next time on the Dean's List.
Mr. Walters, the Dean's List with Mr. Walters, the Dean's List with Mr. Walters. Welcome to the show. Thank you, WEA.